pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock, not 6:30. Is there anyone here for public input? Anyone for public input?
Possibly if I make a comment on a proposal you're going to okay.
Oh, yeah, that, if it's gonna be on that, we can do it then. All right. All right, review and approve council agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Consent agenda items. Item A, approve 7/15/24 council meeting minutes. Item B, approve purchase of ammunition. Item C, approve 2024 street improvement project additions. Item D, approve paid on-call firefighter appointments. And item E, approve tobacco license.
Move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Regular agenda, item A, amendment to conditional use permit for Kia of St. Cloud, 901 Second Street South.
Mayor Miller, this request is through the property owner, St. Cloud Building and Development LLC, for amendment to the conditional use permit, which allowed for the previous establishing of the existing Kia dealership at Second Street South. The request is being pursued to allow for expansion of the existing dealership on the eastern side of the building. Proposed expansion approximately 7,100 square feet, including sales, service reception, and employee support area. Site plan and plans for the property were included with your packets and were reviewed by the Planning Commission. Only one item of note, everything does comply with the B3 Highway Commercial District standards, but similar to what we looked at a couple months back with the Hyundai across the way, there is a proposal for 2 overhead doors on the eastern side of the expansion. The report notes service bays, that's incorrect. They're not service bays, there's no equipment or anything in there. They refer to them kind of as touch points, where if you're buying a vehicle, the vehicle's brought in and features and things are gone over by the sales staff and the support staff there. So it's not a service bay at all. That was incorrect in noting it in that manner. The Second Street South corridor has a prohibition on overhead doors facing Second Street South or Highway 23. But this one is very similar to the Hyundai in that it's of entirely glass design, very in line with the glass frontage of the building. Really walks and talks like a kind of a window more than a door. The doors on the opposite side, the northern side, are of a more traditional overhead door design, and that's okay without anything special on that side. The conditional use permit amendment is required just because of the size and scope. That's something that I reviewed and determined that would be appropriate given the nature of the expansion. I'm supportive of the request and recommend approval with the conditions and recommend adoption of the resolution before you. The Planning Commission reviewed, there was no public comments received or concerns with the request at their earlier meeting. That being said, I can open it for questions, but I'd recommend approval of the amendment with the 2 conditions as outlined and adoption of the resolution.
Council, got any questions for John? Wishes?
Move to approve with the conditions set forth.
I'll second that.
And what was another part? What was it? What was the end of that?
Sorry. Is that hopeful?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. All right. Item B, request of Nicholas Hulls for variance consideration. You can leave those new cars just parked outside.
I didn't think you turned around.
Mayor Miller, council members, this is a request again from Nicholas Hulls, who owns property along Old County Road 6 on the southern side of the city. Approximately 60 acres that he purchased previously. The request is for variances from section 42.46 subdivision B related to wetland setbacks to pursue construction of a home in an A1 agricultural rural residential district. Early on in looking at this, we provided some cursory feedback from the information we have available with our wetland inventory maps to show that roughly there appeared to be a building envelope on the western side of the property that would be upland and probably workable for a house without impeding wetland, but we always advise that it's up to the property owner to have a wetland delineation done to confirm that. They did do that, and it did come back with a little bit lower area than we anticipated. It wasn't quite in line with the information we had available, which isn't unusual. What they're requesting is to reduce the setbacks to allow for the home structure to take reduce the setback for the home building from the wetland by 10 feet, going down from 50 to 40, which is fairly reasonable. They worked with a surveyor to lay out the house at a diagonal to minimize the need for variances and maximize the footprint of the home on the property without impeding too much of the wetland area. So it does seem to be workable. A second variance is requested. This was more at my suggestion in looking at this. There's a quirk in the ordinance that regarding the driveway. So if a driveway is hard surface, concrete or asphalt, it is supposed to require a 75-foot setback. That's due to the impervious nature of it, I would assume, from a wetland. However, if it's gravel, which is typically okayed for the ag-rural residential areas, there's no setback required. I'm not sure exactly why, but my assumption would be that it's just a little bit more pervious. Allows a little bit of water to get through. So there's really nothing that would stop the applicant. They would be okay to pursue a driveway tomorrow without anything special through us if it's okay to be gravelled by the city. That's a county road in that area, so the jurisdiction is through Stearns County to do permitting for the driveway. I was advised in email that the applicant provided from Stearns County staff that they leave the design and any drainage aspects up to the applicant to design. And the applicant has coordinated with a excavator on a proposed design for drainage. I bring that up because there was comments in discussion at the Planning Commission regarding the drainage. There was no concerns brought up regarding the location of the house, but some concern and discussion regarding the driveway and drainage through that area. But the only aspects that the county reviews are the wetland impacts, and the layout of the driveway was designed to minimize the impacts on the wetland. It crosses through a very narrow strip that the county can approve under what's called a de minimis, where there's a very low amount of impact, so they allow for that. I do believe that the applicant demonstrated practical difficulties for this application. The issue is not self-created, but a feature of the natural environment. They've done a good job of everything possible in their design to minimize impacts and need for variance while still retaining a buildable area. I would be supportive of their variance request. Again, the Planning Commission reviewed and held a public hearing. One resident did ask several questions regarding the driveway, but I did clarify after with communication and email correspondence from the applicant that Stearns County is responsible for the reviewing and permitting of the driveway, and that the county really considers a potential impact on the wetland and leaves it to the applicant to work with the excavator and the excavator, in this case, said they would recommend installing two 15-inch culverts based on the submitted layout and design. So my recommendation would be for adoption of the proposed resolution that would approve the two variances. The instance for the driveway variance that I recommended would be that if it's left gravel, we don't need anything. But I would prefer to have a variance in place because I don't want to put them in a bind if they would ever decide that they want to come back and pave it or asphalt it or what have you, and all of a sudden it's an issue that wasn't accounted for. Just a little bit of foresight there. So I can open up for questions or if you want to entertain comment from folks in the audience.
Do you have a comment on this idea? I need your name and address in at the microphone.
Yeah, I've got it written down.
Okay.
Jerry Zabinski, landowner across the road. I know you don't have the authority. I mean, my only complaint is I do want the culvert, and they've addressed that. It's an extremely low land. I don't want to rub a sore spot, but the larger the culvert, when you're in very large vegetation, the less likely it'll plug. If we could go from 216 to 124 or a little larger, I'd be happier. But as long as there's a culvert across, I'm satisfied. But that was my only comment, and I can talk to Nick. The larger the culvert, when you have extremely high vegetation, the less likely it'll plug. And the other thing is it should be kept at the grade that it currently is, which logically he should do. So that, I just wanted to go on record that if possible, the larger the culvert, the better, and just to have it on record. I have no objection to the permitting of anything else. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jerry. Counsel, you got anything?
Where would this culvert be placed here? In the middle of the road, abutting the land, or where? What part of the driveway?
Logically, yeah.
That's gonna be the county's to review and consider, mine, that's not on the city. Yeah.
The only problem with that, because if we followed up with, I've lost the name of the county organization, they leave it up to the city. In this case, you're leaving it up to the county and they're leaving it up to the city, and it kind of falls into Nick's. I mean, so that's the only reason I want to go on record saying logically it should be in the lowest place at grade level, and the larger the culvert, better. 216s will plug easier than 124. And I don't want to go on record because that's my only beef with it. The county, cannot remember the name of that organization that does this. When it's in a municipality, they leave it up to the municipality to dictate it. And in your case, I think because it's annexed, you leave it up to the county, so it kind of
No,
falls.
the issue comes with, because the county road has nothing to do with annexation, it's a county road.
Okay.
When we review building permit applications for anything that has a approach with off a county road, we just look for that they've secured the approval and permitting through the county.
And Nick at
If
the
it-
hearing agreed to put a
Yeah.
culvert in.
If it would have been in the, like what you're saying, if it would have been on a city road, that would have once been on the township road, then yes, that's the case. Because when it would have been in the township, the county would have been reviewing that information. The reason why the county reviews this one is because it's abutting a county road, and they have full jurisdiction over that stuff. So that's a difference between that. Normally on a city road, that would have been at one point a township road. Yes, that would have been a true statement.
But once you leave the city road and the driveway is put on private property, because where it's
You're not-
crossing the wetland, that driveway is on private land.
It's still accessing a county road to get to that house. So it's going from County Road 6 to that property.
County Road 6 is under jurisdiction for right-of-way with the county highway department. and they decide to improve a permit for an access, and they will decide what size culvert is best needed for that situation, not the city.
They don't even, Nick agreed to the culvert. The county told him he didn't have to put a culvert in. The county has nothing to do with that culvert. The county does not dictate on private land that you have to put a culvert in, which John will attest to. I mean, if it's on private land and you do not tar it, you do not have to put a culvert in. Nick agreed to put a culvert in. I'm satisfied there. My only comment is,
You want a bigger one?
it would plug less easily.
Yeah,
And
agree with you.
I'm picking at straws here. I'm just, that if you're gonna put two in versus one, I don't know how much difference there'd be in expense. And Nick is agreeing to it. I mean, he's not fighting me on it. I just wanted to,
The communication I received was from someone in environmental services, and
you did?
it was more tied with the wetland. I would assume the driveway aspects would come through the engineer's office, the highway engineer. That's typically their territory, so it's possible they misspoke.
I'm not butting heads with Nick. And I haven't talked to him about, I came tonight to see because I had heard there was gonna be 2 16s. I'm gonna contact Nick and see if we could convert to one 24-inch, and then we'd be all happy.
All right.
Thank you.
Jerry. Yeah, thanks. Counselor, you got anything else?
Can we make recommendations, or is this all tied up through the
It's-
county?
County.
County.
Not ours.
Even the driveway?
This would be at the county. I would say we had the same question came up at planning commission, and there was a little bit of, planning commission was diving in a little bit, and, you know, do we make this a condition? And, frankly, it's engineering aspects that,
Are
shouldn't
not
be,
relevant.
shouldn't be entertained as part of the variance request. It's separate, it's pertinent, and the applicant seemed appreciative to know that I don't think it benefits him to risk having standing water or anything on his property either, so he seemed appreciative of the input, but I think it's outside the scope of this request. We would certainly look for it, and we would coordinate with the county, just like we always would, but it's good for us to know too, that we can ensure that, you know, when it comes through, that it's all been properly reviewed and approved, but if the county can't require it, I don't think we can, but it sounds like the applicant is pursuing having the culverts.
So, anytime that there is a access from a private property onto a county road, the county has a right-of-way permit system and they have to sign off on that. And if a culvert's needed, they will tell you whether there's a culvert needed and size it. Same thing, if it was on the city road, township road, let's take the road out by 50th Avenue or Butler Drive. So they wanna put in one out there. They gotta come to us for a right-of-way permit and we will make them put a culvert in there, into that access. I think what's happened here is maybe there's some misclarifications that he might wanna put another culvert in on his property, maybe to deal with wetland stuff. What we're saying is the county's gonna get a permit to get a culvert in the road, in the county road ditch. And I think this is a different situation, so. We have nothing to do with the county road ditch, that's the county. If there's something else on their property, that would be something different, that we don't control. And I think that Jerry's right, it's probably not a county issue either. So that's where.
All right, counsel, anything else? Your wishes?
I'll move to approve for adoption with the 2 variances.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Item C, consider construction management at risk agreement for the public safety facility renovation and expansion.
Yeah, council, in front of you is just a quick staff report and the agreement. Since the motion for staff to move forward to negotiate with Bradbury and Stam on the City Hall, our public safety facility and City Hall renovation and expansion, myself, Jeff Ryder, Paul Michelle, and Mike Healy, both of them from BKV, have spent the last week going over the contracts, working with BKV, coming up to a mutual agreement. That agreement is in front of you tonight for your approval. I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Counsel, got any questions?
No. I'll move to approve the agreement.
I'll second.
Further discussion? in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. All right, approved bills.
I have a question on one bill.
You pull it up?
Nope,
Okay.
I have a photo I can tell you. It's for custom embroidery on a seat.
On a
Not that I'm opposed to it, but it caught my interest.
On a what?
What?
Custom embroidery on a seat cover was set up.
That is actually for the PD. The driver's seats of many of our squad cars, the stitching tears from us getting in and out
Oh,
with our gun
with
belts.
their gear, yeah,
The fabric gets so, I don't know, like frailed.
thin.
Yeah, that they can't sew it. So we actually ordered a custom seat cover that will fit it. We have tried buying off-the-shelf ones prior, and they tend to wear out very quickly. And because it's like the entire seat is covered, it actually catches on all of our equipment and actually pulls off when we get in and out of the car. So we are trying it at a fairly minimal upfront cost to see if this is a actual solution.
I thought maybe somebody was stitching the Wake Park logo into their name. We should have them right here.
If you're interested in that, we could certainly ask. We were just trying to get it so the fault wasn't exposed.
I moved to pay the bills.
I'll second.
Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. I have one correspondence from the Mid-Minnesota Cycling Club. A thank you for our letter of support for their their ride trail in Quarry Park.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dave? Bill?
No.
John?
No, sir.
Chief?
Nothing.
Chief? Avery? Carla? Donna?
Just that our next meeting will be September 16th. We will not have a meeting the day after Labor Day, or the holiday. That would have been our normally scheduled meeting, so we're a little bit off on our schedule, but that will be our next meeting.
Is there a meeting Tuesday,
Nope. No meeting,
city?
nope, that's not, the next meeting isn't until October.
Oh, in October. Oh.
Yep,
Yep.
you're ahead of yourself, Mike. Better to be ahead than behind, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Great.
That's all I have.
All right, then we are adjourned at 7:22.